I just want to say a quick thank you to Nate Warner for donating $25 towards making Gamestork better. If you would like to donate, please go to the link in the description below. Thank you guys and enjoy your video. Hey, what's up guys? This is Jeff with Gamestork, and it looks like there are more rumors surfacing about the PSP 3 or PS Vita 2 appearing at E3 2017.
Gamestork, delivering news, reviews, and playthroughs like a newborn baby.
So let's start out by saying, first and foremost, this is a rumor. These have all been rumors, and if you take this seriously, anything further than with a grain of salt, it's not my problem, okay? But I want to share with you guys this rumor and then discuss a little bit of what this would mean or the likelihood of something like this happening. So the rumors, obviously leading up to E3, are always huge. They happen all the time. There's a ton of them. You know, we aren't done with the rumors prior to this E3. But you know, the biggest rumors almost always seem to center around Sony, because they've been a market leader consistently for so long that people are generally excited to see, you know, what they pull out each year. Now, the thing about that is Nintendo, since the Nintendo Wii, they have been kind of behind. Let's face it, the Wii U didn't do very well. They haven't been even showing up at E3 other than their Nintendo Direct. So, you know, people are really excited every year to see what Sony has to do, has to say. And adding to the rumors that have already surfaced earlier this year in February, centering around a patent that Sony filed for a handheld device, as reported by Digital Trends, two new pieces of information popped up about a new PSP 3 or a PS Vita 2. So first, Gamestork is reporting that Chinese games media have reportedly noted that they're being invited to a special presentation by Sony's China office for the unveiling of a new piece of hardware. Now, there's images of the press invitation and the comments from the Chinese about Sony's new hardware potentially being something to rival the Nintendo Switch. They also speculate a possible PS4 Extreme Slim Edition being unveiled, and the images of the press invite were posted on A9VG. Gamestork discounted the news, stating that they didn't believe it could be actually a PSP 3, but they did believe that there might be a new PS4 SKU introduced at E3. Now keep in mind that this could very well end up being little more than a hoax. There have been a ton of rumors dumped out just ahead of E3 from a number of people looking to put eyes and attention on them. Now, however, in addition to the Chinese media claiming that Sony may unveil something akin to the PSP 3 or PSP Vita 2, there was also rumors that someone overheard someone from Square Enix talking about a possible new device from Sony that they may unveil, similar to the likes of the Nintendo Switch. This could be huge news for PlayStation gamers, and if it turns out to be true, yeah, I mean, it's going to be pretty big. So the patent design lends a lot of credence to the rumors, but the flimsy sourcing makes it a little difficult to take the other pieces at face value. Now, of course, the possible new hybrid portable system from Sony wouldn't be too surprising. Sales of the PS4 are somewhat slowing down compared to what they were before, and innovation seems to have stalled. But Sony and Microsoft have opted to chase the 4K arena, which is only really popular amongst the hardcore enthusiasts, which right now is not the main largest piece of the market. Now, Nintendo is going to compete opposite direction. They're going in the complete opposite direction to compete, and with their home handheld console hybrid, which seems to be paying off for them as far as sales. So seeing Sony mimic them with their own device would make sense, given that they did the same thing with the PlayStation Move, following behind Nintendo when they released the Wii and Wiimotes. The only problem with these rumors is that Sony has never dominated the handheld market, never even come close, and while their Xperia phones are in demand, the PSP and the PS Vita are not. Now, this isn't to say, I know what some people are going to say, that the PS Vita is in demand now and people want it and it's the time to buy. But let's face it, the PS Vita was not a success. It had a lack of games. I bought one. I felt the disappointment. It had a lot of potential, but it did not live up to that due to the lack of games. And by the time the JRPGs came out on this thing later, and the RPGs came out later, it was just too late for most people. A lot of people had already traded theirs in or sold them. Now, unfortunately, with these truths, we're not going to find out anything until E3. These are just rumors, and these rumors are going to continue to roll around for weeks and weeks and weeks to come. Now, the question is, would it be wise for PlayStation to copy Nintendo here and go ahead and follow up on their patent, and not just follow up on the patent, but to create some sort of device that would somewhat mimic that, to give the same amount of power perhaps, or maybe to give it a one-up Nintendo, so to speak. Now, number one, we know that this would be expensive. Nintendo putting the device that they put out, the Nintendo Switch, out at $300 is insane. Like, people don't give them credit for this. They say, well, there's only, 32 gigs internal storage. That's a problem. The battery, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is, Nintendo gave us the option to pick the storage that we wanted so that we wouldn't automatically spend $500 on a console with internal storage that is more expensive. Let's face it. So what Nintendo did is try to keep the $300 price point, which is extremely important as far as consumer base. Some people, they'll buy all cartridge games, and they're not going to have to worry about expanding their memory. There are people like me who I've invested so far in a 200 gigabyte mini SD card, and it's doing great. And as soon as a 1 terabyte comes out, I'll probably switch over to that, and my storage problems will probably be finished as far as Nintendo games. But the thing is Nintendo is all about cost, and the reason that the Nintendo Switch is successful right now, why it's selling good, is because it's at that $299 price point. That's why there's no pack-in game. There's none of that stuff to fluff, because that's how expensive it is to create. People hate on the Joy-Cons for being expensive and things like that, but the reality is that the technology in there is really, really ahead of its time. It's really awesome, and it's expensive to make. As we've seen recently, the parts are really hard to come by, and that's very costly for us as a consumer. Now, my issue with Sony doing this is that Sony's handheld gaming market or gaming push in the past, outside of the PSP, has seemed lackluster. Now, the PSP, I will admit, I eventually got my PSP modded, or whatever you call it, and had a ton of games on there that I just played, and it was awesome. And I've enjoyed it in the beginning. There were a lot of RPGs on there. It's fun. But the PlayStation Vita, yeah, I got it for Gravity Rush. I played Gravity Rush. I played Uncharted on there, and after that, it was just a void, nothing. It was like the PlayStation VR, which might, they might announce a bunch of VR games this year, but Nintendo's first parties are lacking. So the thing is especially right now when Nintendo getting on third parties, you see not a lot of third parties are bringing their games over to that console, which is capable of running them in a downgraded way. Now, Sony, if they follow suit and push out a handheld device that is of similar power, they're going to run into the same issue. The difference is Nintendo can survive off first parties and drive up sales with first parties to encourage the third parties to get on board, whereas Sony doesn't have that. Sony doesn't have the first parties they can put on a handheld device in order to sell the device, right? So right now, I don't think it would be wise to jump on. I'm not saying that they'll never do this. Don't get me wrong. If they do, I will purchase it probably day one because the idea is great to me. I'm like, yes, any new gaming device is great. Any new possibility of a new experience is really good. I love Sony. I love Nintendo. I love Xbox, all that stuff. But the thing is right now I don't see it being very profitable for them because Nintendo's success is coming from their first party games blowing up on this console that you can take with you, and that's going to encourage third party people to get in 2018 and bring their games over. Now the thing about that is perhaps they'll feed off of that momentum, and the studios that are pushing their games onto the Switch will also push theirs onto this PSP 3 or Vita 2 or whatever it is. We don't know. But right now, as far as Sony is concerned, I would think that this is more likely to be a new SKU of the PlayStation 4, a new version. Why? Because they're controlling the market right now with a new install base. And with their install base, it's huge. It's really big. It's the biggest. They have all the say-so and things like Call of Duty. They have early access, whereas other consoles have to wait. So people are more likely to buy on the PlayStation 4. They, as far as third parties are concerned, third parties are on board with the PlayStation 4. They're bringing everything over first, and that's just the way it is. That's the climate of the market right now. Sony's not going to walk away from that, and I don't even think they're going to launch a PlayStation 5. They may mention it to come out in the distant future. I doubt they will this year, to be honest, because of that. Because I don't think they want to lose the momentum. I think they want to regain momentum in the PS4 sales and push this. So another reiteration perhaps would be great. Like the PS4 Pro is not a new console, generation. It's a reiteration of the PlayStation 4, and as such, financially, it's going to be counted as a PS4 install base, a PS4 overall sales, and things like that. And I think they're going to do a new SKU for the PS4. Now, a handheld device for me would be great. I think it would be really awesome. I did like the Vita. A lot of the late games on the Vita I liked, and I wish it would have taken off better. But the reality is that it didn't. Sony has never been super successful. They've never dominated in the handheld market. I believe that that's Nintendo's specialty. So going into that and copying that may not be wise. But hey, you never know. Here's the thing about it. At this point, we could suspect Microsoft to doing the same thing, from them surveying their own gold subscribers, asking about the Nintendo Switch, doing market research as they have. Some could speculate, hey, maybe they're thinking about doing the same thing, since they're not selling the way that they want to, and they want to make a handheld device that you can take with you, because they already make tablets and things like that, so it wouldn't be that hard to create something like this, and maybe they're going to create a device to do this with. Now, they're going to run into the same issue if they do. No first parties. Xbox essentially has nothing. Let's just be honest. As of right now, they're very slim on their first parties, and they're going to have to reintroduce some new IPs and things like that this E3 in order to just stay afloat in the console war. And let's hope that they do, because I really want them to do well. And make a brand new Gears of War. That would be great. And make, maybe a new Halo. That's going to be awesome. We know that's coming. And things like that. Just first party stuff. Scalebound. I could just do a video of 20 minutes of me talking about Scalebound, of how much I want that, how much I was looking forward to that game, how I was like praising Xbox for this game, and how it's just going to be awesome and a system seller and blah blah blah. Maybe they'll bring that back, right? We see that they retain the rights to the name and all that, so maybe they'll bring that back. Maybe they'll announce that at E3 that, hey, this is coming, we know you want it, boom, right? But as far as anybody right now copying the Nintendo Switch, I just don't think that it's very like a viable business model for them, and I don't think they're going to do it. It just seems very unlikely, because they don't have the first parties to push that console in order to get the third parties aboard. We saw with the PlayStation Vita, that was the issue. No first parties. You had Uncharted come, and it was like, boom, big start, and after that it was nothing. So same thing would essentially happen this time, whereas Nintendo can port all their Wii U games that only 13 million people got to experience, and seems like a lot of people, until you realize that they're looking to push up in the 50s right now as far as their goal, and they might sell up to 18 million in their first year, which means that's 5 million more people that didn't get to play any Wii U games. So ports are smart, and Nintendo can rely on their new games, Mario, Zelda, and things like that, all the first parties, where they can really pour into the console, sell it, make it hot, make it popular. So as far as my outlook is concerned here, just to wrap this up, I don't get your hopes up with a Sony handheld device. It wouldn't be outlandish to see it, so it's not going to surprise me, but I just don't think that this year is the time for that. I think that they need to focus on games, on pushing PS4 sales even further, so a new hyper slim version or whatever that could be would be awesome. I would probably purchase that. Super slim PlayStation 4 Pro would be awesome. And that seems much more likely to me. So take this rumor with a grain of salt. Anyways, guys, I'd love to hear what you think about this down in the comments below. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to help to improve the quality of content on this channel, and also help to make content come out faster, please go to this link at gofundme.com/Gamestork to help me replace the equipment needed in order to make this channel better. Again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and if nothing else, just be sure to watch, like, and subscribe. Thanks again. Bye.